Weary of getting closer. So no, but it's fine. It's fine. So I'm good, and we're getting ready for Prague.
Huh?
Yeah, and today's Halloween, Mark.
It is. Halloween's, I don't know, it's not such a thing in Australia, but it's starting to become a thing, and I think it's obviously more pushed by retailers in Australia than anything. They see it as another way to up their profits, I guess. But it's like, I don't know, 7 o'clock at night here, and I think in Australia actually, because it's not such a big thing, what most people or most houses do is they hang something out the front, and if it's out the front, then that sort of tells that kids and parents who are walking around with kids that, they're participating in it and they've got, something for them. But if there's nothing going on outside the house, then that sort of generally means, that they're not participating in Halloween, because it's typically not an Australian thing. When I was a kid, it was never a thing, and it was never a thing until maybe even 10 years ago here. So it's one of them things in Australia, not very big, but I assume it's pretty big in Germany, is it?
It is not in the American sense. Halloween is Alle Heiligen. It is a Catholic day and thing. So yeah, it is, and I think on the 1st of November, it's custom to go to the cemetery and be with the dead.
Okay.
So in that sense, it is a very German or regional thing here, but not in the American commercial sense. Not at all. Yeah. Okay. So, yeah, it's more like a religious festivity. Day. Yeah, exactly. So,
I could be naive and tell you I don't even know the history behind it. So.
It's a day where you celebrate the dead and remember the dead, really. So there, I mean, it's really it's not thought of as anything other than just we remember the dead. And actually, this was a couple of years ago. We were in northern Italy, in South Tyrol, and we went to. We were in a small town in the mountains, and it was around this time as well. It was on Halloween, and we went to the local cemetery, and there were lots of people. They brought food and drinks, and almost had a party on the church grounds. So it was actually. A very positive thing. It was very, very nice and cozy, and people were having mulled wines and some food, and chatting with the locals.
I wonder how many how many countries actually embrace it or don't embrace it. Still, I assume.
Yeah, I do believe in Latin America, it's a huge thing. They have something for the dead. So, yeah.
I wasn't quite sure because, I didn't actually. I don't know, and I may be wrong. I assumed it probably wasn't a thing in China until Willow sent through a photo of the little girl she looked after, all dressed up in Halloween stuff for today. So I was a bit surprised by that. But I don't know why. As I say all the time, China's like any other country, I guess. But I think I just sort of figured because they have a bit of an anti-American sentiment that they probably wouldn't be overly celebrating something that's possibly typically American in the commercial sense of the holiday. But
No, well, obviously it's through popular culture. It's been commercialized and there's like in Australia, here in Germany, it's a little bit the same thing. We older people, we can't really remember this being a huge thing when we were kids. But yeah, the last 15 years, it's been coming ever more strongly, and all the stores are filled with cheap crap you can buy.
Yeah, that's dead right, isn't it?
Yeah.
You are correct. You are correct.
No, so it's a thing here, and it's tonight. Today, this day of recording is the 31st of October, 2025. Mark, we forgot to introduce people again. You're listening. If you're listening,
we do.
The listener, this is Southern Summers and Northern Winters, and I'm Anders, and in the other end of the world is Mark. Mark, how was your week?
I had a bit of a mixed week. One of our pet rabbits that we had died after 10 years, so so I was a little bit sad. And so yeah, he'd been around for a fair chunk of our kids' lives, and so he was expected to die. He had cancer, which we knew, but so I had to take him to the vet after hours yesterday, which stung my wallet a bit, as well as stinging the rabbit, because it was out of hours and he was pretty sick and struggling, and I wasn't prepared to let him suffer through the night till the next morning. So
oh no,
I had to take him to the vet last night at, I don't know, about 10 o'clock, because I'd had him inside because we knew he was a little bit sick, and went in the bathroom and he was sort of laying on his side, and so I went, okay, we need to do the right thing by him and take him to the vet and get him get him euthanized, basically, because he wasn't very well. So that call out fee for that was, I think, $350 Australian to go to the vet after hours, and then another $100 for the medication to and for the doctor's fee. So yeah, so it was a bit of an expensive journey.
Well, yeah, well, it's the thing about pets, you know. Once when you get them, you need to be prepared for.
Definitely.
And 10 years for a rabbit is pretty decent.
Yeah, like they become part of your family. Like, so, stand around the vet table, and I had tears, and Rebecca had tears, and Marley had tears, and we were all, we're all a bit emotional, and so it was a bit of a sad night, and so I brought him home and dug a hole in the backyard near some other dead pets that we've had over the years, and placed him in the ground this afternoon. So no more pets for me. That wasn't even my pet; it was Willow's pet, and she left it when she went to China. So so obviously it fell up to me to look after him, which was okay because I loved him. He was a good rabbit, and but no more pets. It's too hard when you want to travel. It was always an issue trying to find someone to look after him, and asking friends if we could take him around there. And much like your own sort of kids, you're never sure if anyone ever looks after him as well as what you do. So that's always always a bit of a concern. So so from now on, that's it on the pet front for us. But ever since I was a kid, I always had pets. Like, we had a number of dogs when I was little, my dad, and we had cats and rabbits and guinea pigs. So for the last, 50 years of my life, I guess. So, but now I'm going, no, that's it. That's enough.
Guinea pigs, I used to have those as well when I was a kid, and they would, breed. So, and I also had a fish tank. So what I'd do is I would, my guinea pigs would breed and have small guinea pigs, and I would sell them to the local pet store, and get in exchange I would get tropical fish.
Fantastic
so that was
idea.
That was great. Now I've heard you can't. There's no way you can do this in Europe anymore, because I mean you need to have a breeding license for.
You need a license for everything, don't you?
Yeah. So
they let any person breed without a license, don't they?
Yeah. That's Well, true. but yeah, because we have friends who have guinea pigs, and they told us what what they cost, and how
Yeah.
you need to go to to the pet store and
Yep.
show you know need to show some ID and all
Yeah.
these things, and when I was a kid, well, 40 years ago, it was just
Yeah.
there were
I,
no formalities. It was just
no,
I have three or
not at all.
four little
Yep.
babies here. Can you take them, and
Yep.
then I can have some fish? And he was happy, the pet
Yeah.
shop owner, because then he had four new guinea pigs he could sell, and nobody checked them if they were healthy.
No. No,
They
no, no.
maybe they spent like
Not
a
at all.
week in the store, and he could sort of see
Yep.
if they were okay. That was it. Yeah.
Yeah, I quite like the guinea pigs. They're little, they're easy to look after. They
Yeah.
like a pat. They make a little squeaky noises all
Yeah,
the
yeah.
time when
Yeah,
you're.
yeah.
But things like that. But I really love cats, but I haven't had a cat for a lot of years. I think because cats are pretty self-sufficient.
Yeah, they are. They are, and they sort of, if you live in the countryside,
you laugh, they want
you
to
most
sleep on the
certainly need
yeah, about the
you need
extent of all you need to do
sorry,
with a cat. I
yeah,
said, yeah, cats are self-sufficient, really. Like, you just need to put some food out and they go and do their own thing. But I don't know about in Germany, but in Australia, well, in Victoria, where I live, you're not actually allowed to have a cat outside anymore. Cats got to stay inside. So
why is that?
because they're killing too much wildlife.
Oh, okay. Because
Yeah. So cats.
I was going to say, if you live in the countryside, in at least here in Europe, you definitely need a cat,
Yeah.
because mice and rats
Yeah.
and all these things you need.
Yeah, but no, they're meant to be inside. Meant to be inside pets in Victoria. If you get caught, they would get taken to the pound or whatever, whatever refuge that they collect stray animals into these days. Unless it was registered, which you meant to register your pets, and that's another fee that the government levy on you, I guess. But even
Yeah,
if
yeah.
it was out and the pound person caught it and took it away, you'd still have to go and pay a fee to get it out, even if they
Yeah,
knew it
yeah,
was
of
yours.
course.
So it just goes
There's,
on and on and on, doesn't it?
there's a fee to anything.
You are most
Yeah.
certainly correct.
And speaking of wildlife, what's you have possums and wombats, and what do you have in?
Yeah, for sure. Not so much in town for possums, not where I live anyway, but there's definitely, I've got to say, I see more dead wombats than I see alive wombats. There's
Okay.
lots of them on the roads out in this area, but you often see, because I live in the country, out in the country, you often see a fair bit of dead animals on the
Yeah.
road around
Yeah.
this area, kangaroos, wombats, things like that. Occasionally you see some nice animals. I seen an echidna the other week, like a porcupine, on the side of the road. I actually pulled up to get out and have a look at him, but he hurried off pretty quickly. I was trying to get a photo of some video of him, but they're pretty quick. But possums. When you go camping, you often hear them. Like if you leave food out, they'll come and try and raid your raid your esky or your camp food and things like that. But
Yeah.
mainly at night. So, but other than that, I don't know. I've got a lot of birds. A lot of birds come around my backyard and things like that. But I've got some parrots out the front, like rosellas. I don't know if you know what they are. They're like a colourful red bird, like with red and blue and green feathers and things like that. They nest in a tree out the front of my house, and they start squawking about 5:30 every morning, which is can be annoying, but it's nice.
Yeah.
Nice to see them.
Yeah.
Have
I remember when
magpies that live in my front yard as well.
remember when we were traveling around the world. We were in Queensland, and people at any campsite, they said to us, if you drive after dark at night,
Yeah.
you need to drive on the highways. You need to, if possible, you need to go and drive behind the big trucks, because they will sort of clear the way for you in
Yes.
terms of kangaroos. They would jump
Most
over.
definitely.
Yeah.
I've been lucky. I hit a kangaroo one day. Well, actually, the kangaroo hit me. It bounced out and bounced into the side of my car. So, but
Oh,
they can do a lot of damage to your cars, and they can cause some serious accidents because your first reaction is to swerve, and that's probably,
yeah,
that's where most of the damage comes from because you try and swerve around them and end up, crashing on the side of the road or something
yes,
like that. So,
yeah,
but yeah, they can certainly be, it's like when you tell people they're considered a pest in Australia and most people go, like because,
yeah,
they're like a national emblem as well. But, they're certainly at plague proportions in places, and they actually have a kangaroo cull regularly, in certain areas.
yeah.
And actually, last year they had a horse cull in Australia because there was too many wild brumbies in the High Country National Park that were causing damage to the actual land and the vegetation and everything. So they flew in helicopters and had a cull from the air of wild horses. So yeah, strange things, but
Wow,
this is
yeah,
what happens.
yeah. No, it's. We don't have a kangaroo in Europe. It's deer and other wildlife. And I just read that I think it's in Romania or Bulgaria, brown bears are actually a thing. It's a problem. They're causing issues.
Do they still have brown bear in northern Germany or not? Like
I haven't
they used
heard
to have
about. No,
bears,
no, I don't think so.
because the emblem of Berlin is a bear.
True. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't know why, actually, because I don't particularly associate Berlin with bears. But I know, yeah, it's
No, but yeah.
yeah.
Well, speaking of bear attacks, there's also been a lot of bear attacks in Japan. I see. Bear population is on the increase, and there's been like 5 people killed in the last 2 months by bears in rural parts of Japan. So
Yeah.
it's sort of one
We
of them things, isn't it? Like,
we
yeah,
had some
I
killings
don't
in
know.
northern Italy recently as well, yeah, or a
Yeah,
year ago or something.
it's really hard. It's really hard to, I don't know, for me to wrap my mind around because you go, well, we build our houses in their areas, so is it really their fault? It's like I say when people go in the ocean in Australia and get bitten by a shark. Well, you've sort of ventured into their habitat,
Yeah.
so yeah, it's one of them things, isn't it?
It's a thing we have a big theme in, and particularly right now as there are local elections in Denmark going on. There's as a theme with wildlife and particularly the wolves. The wolf
Yep.
is now once again after several hundred years. It's part of Danish wildlife.
Yep.
It was extinct and now it's not anymore, which is good. But protected wildlife is that when you do that politically, you decide to protect a specific animal, then
Yep.
the population will increase, of course, and
Yeah.
that causes issues. So there's a
Most
huge debate.
definitely.
There's a huge debate about, and this is the same reason in with the brown bear in Eastern Europe. They
Yep.
decided years ago to protect it, and now it's rising and it causes issues. So there's always this
A hard,
balance.
hard balance, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah, that's it. Like it's, if only you could do like, I guess, a correct census on these things, but it's a little bit hard to keep track of, animals and go, okay, once I got so many, that's enough. And, but still, yeah, I don't know. I
yeah.
don't like
It's
killing animals. I find
no.
it a little bit
Have you ever
off-putting.
encountered, apart from local Australian stuff? Have you seen anything when you've been traveling?
No, like not in the wild.
Oh,
But I would seen a squirrel.
yeah, yeah. Well, that's yeah,
There's no squirrels in Australia, so no. But no, not really. So I've never encountered any dangerous animals really. I've seen a few snakes in Australia.
yeah,
I always remember when I was a kid, we used to my parents' house. At that stage, it was sort of on the edge of town, and now it's sort of semi close to the middle of town because the town's grown out since I was a kid. But I always remember, be a snake in our backyard occasionally. And my dad would go out with a shovel and go like that, and
Oh yeah, yeah.
and chop it in half. But yeah, you often see them if you go for a drive on a sunny day, like near where I live, not in town. Like if you go out in the bush area a little bit, you often see snakes slithering across the road and things like that on a hot day, or just laying on
Yeah.
the road sunning themselves and things like that. And I guess you don't stop and have a look because 9 out of the 10 most deadliest snakes in the world live in Australia or something. So
True. I remember
you know,
a relative of ours. They live in Melbourne, and the wife, Sandra, she's running through a park, every morning,
yeah,
and she says, sometimes, I really have. She always have to be observant and pay
yep,
attention to where she's running, because all of a sudden some snake can come and think that she's attacking it,
yeah, yep,
and they will things can happen, so she's always alert.
yeah. Well, I think they're as much scared of you as you are to them. So it's only when you're a threat to them that I guess they strike out. If you notice them, like it must have been last summer, I was in a park or there's a wetlands area with tracks through it for my work with a group of clients that I had, and we were going for a walk along this path, and about 10 metres in front of us, this red belly black snake just slithered across the track. The wheel just stopped, waited for it to go, and continued on our way.
Yeah,
No trouble as long as you don't. As long as you don't threaten them. They're not going to just see you and then come straight up the path, towards you or anything like that.
no,
Generally, so.
no.
So yeah, as long as you don't go over there and start pointing a stick at it and poking at it and
Yeah,
things like that, you
exactly,
might be,
exactly.
you're all right. Like everything, you respect their space and they'll respect your space.
Exactly.
I think so.
Exactly right.
So yeah,
Yeah. No. So what I've seen only is whales in Greenland in the
yeah.
wild. We went on a whale safari, but yeah, and we were lucky. Have you ever seen a whale up close? it's
I
it's
have seen a
absolutely
whale. Yes,
yeah,
I have seen a whale. I'd love to see an orca up close. I think,
yeah.
but
Me too. Yeah, yeah,
I think that would be quite fascinating for sure. But
but
yeah, whales are fantastic creatures. I've seen a lot of dolphins up close as well.
yeah, yeah,
Eels, things like that in the water. Even in the water, like I've been surfing when I was younger, and we used to go out surfing and things like that. Where we were, there'd be dolphins that would come and just sort of swim up next to you, which was
yeah, yeah.
pretty fascinating.
There's
For
something
sure.
calming and soothing about a dolphin. I don't know what it is, but
Yeah,
there's some otherworldly thing about it. I can't describe it. If you've been in the presence of a dolphin, um,
yeah,
it just has an effect on you. At least to
it
me.
does.
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
really something nice about it.
I think elephants are the same as well. Even though they can be menacing, they're very, I don't know, majestic if you see them sort of in the wild. Like we were in northern Thailand in the jungles. Well, no, above Chiang Mai, if anyone knows where that is. Chiang
Yeah,
Mai,
yeah,
Chiang Rai.
yeah,
It's in like the Golden Triangle area, and there's a lot of jungle up there. And we were out doing an ATV tour one day, and like there was just like a herd of elephants in the river next to this path that we were riding this ATV on, and there's actually, which was really, throwing water on themselves and, sunning themselves in the river. And it was, that was quite stunning, I must say. And then we went back up that area a few days later, and there's an elephant conservation park up there, and Willow and Beck actually stayed the night, volunteer. Even though they call it volunteer, you still have to pay to volunteer because that's how they
okay, yeah.
make their
Well,
money to fund the conservation of it all. And they were able to stay there and help feed the elephants and things like that for a small amount of money. It was quite a good setup, and there's actually a documentary on this place we went to. And so what they do is they try and get elephants in Thailand that have been like enslaved by circuses and used for logging and things like that all their lives, and they try and bring them to this sanctuary to just the sanctuary is really big too, and there's no cages. It's just an open area, so they try and bring them to this sanctuary and let them live like I guess a normal, as close to a normal life as
Yeah.
an elephant in the wild would. And each of these elephants have what they call it. I think it's called they call it a mahout, which is like their person. So they have a person that that's
The look
sort
after.
of
Yeah.
looks after them. Yeah, looks after them, but doesn't get too close. Gets some food and only sort of steps in with them, when they need to, in case they're because elephants, like everyone, can have a bad day and a bad mood, and they can be pretty dangerous if,
Yeah.
something like that happens. So yeah, well, I can't remember what it was called, but yeah, very beautiful place up in the mountains in Thailand, and really big open areas where these elephants that they were rehabilitating were living. So yeah, was quite the experience, I must say. I only went there for half a day, but Willow and Beck stayed there for a night and came back the next day, and they absolutely loved it. It was fantastic.
Yeah. Yeah, I have. I've been riding elephants also in Thailand. It's quite this was a tourist thing. Obviously, you go through the jungle and you sit up on
Yeah.
the back of an elephant in some kind of, I don't know what it was, a seat or.
Yeah.
And it was nice. I think in hindsight, probably wouldn't do it again. I don't know if you look for if you're strictly animal welfare thing point of view, animal protection point of view. I don't think it's the right thing these days. But this is also
No.
20 years ago. So,
Yeah, times change.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
things
yeah,
were acceptable back in years gone by that are
yeah,
not so acceptable now. I think they still do it in places in Thailand. They still do it in Bali actually as well. There's an
yeah.
elephant park where you can
I,
I think you can still ride elephants.
I have a
But
friend who went to Asia. Well, no, not recently, five years ago, I think, and they went
yeah,
to some sort of evening entertainment event at a circus, and there were tiger kids, small
yeah,
tigers. I don't know, what do you call them, cubs, and and um,
yeah,
and you were allowed to hold them and have your photo taken. But
yeah,
obviously, it's been known since then that these cops are sedated. They're
yeah.
heavily on meds. So
Most definitely.
yeah. So
Look,
so
one thing.
yeah.
Yeah,
No, so it's
like
as my friend said, in hindsight, he probably,
yeah,
they
you
shouldn't have
shouldn't.
done that, but spur of the moment, and so yeah, but you learn every
I think
time.
I think one steady rule you can live by is to try and avoid at all costs anything to do with animals in Asia as a whole.
Yeah,
Like I've been to a number of zoos and places where animals are not well looked after
yeah,
in Asia as a whole. I think they're treated as a way to make money and as an attraction,
yeah,
basically. And there's not much care put into them. I mean, look, Western zoos are fine. I've been to Berlin Zoo, I've been to Paris Zoo, I've been to Melbourne and Sydney, and a lot of big zoos where the animals' welfare is put first a lot of the time.
yes,
Within the constraints of what they can do for the size of the areas that they live in, and that's all fine. And I think there's a place for zoos because conservation is important, and sometimes
and
animals,
research and everything, yeah,
yeah, that's it. They need animals for
yeah,
that type of thing. But I've been to some pretty average places in Asia when it comes to looking after animals that I wouldn't care to go to again or go back to generally.
no, no,
Like even as early as like late last year when we were in China, we went to the zoo in Qingdao because I had my sister with us and she wanted to see a panda.
okay,
There was a panda there, and the pandas are always well looked after because they're the national symbol of China and
yeah,
they're worth
yeah,
worth a lot of money to the Chinese government, but you'll find that most other animals are locked up in, small glass enclosures with very little water on really friggin' hot days
Yeah.
and things like that. And so basically, after we seen the panda and we walked around for half an hour, I said, "I'm getting out of here." I said, "This is
This is
no good."
depressing.
Yeah, it was. It was depressing for me, and it just makes you, because like I said, I'm an animal person. I really like animals, and I don't like to see them, mistreated or not. Like there was a tiger or a leopard. There was a leopard at this place, and it was basically in a glass enclosure that was probably 3 meters by 3 meters. Like, and this day was about 35, and it had no water. Like, things
Oh
like that. I just
man.
go,
Yeah.
I need to get out. I need to get out of here. I can't do anything about it, so I need to. I
Yeah.
need to leave. And talking about the tiger thing, we were in Chiang Mai at a zoo there, and they had a full-size tiger that was that drug that you could go up and get your photo taken next to it
Yeah.
and actually pat
Yeah.
it, like things like that. So. Yeah, I've seen some really crappy shit in Asia when it comes to
Yeah, I know.
animals.
Yeah.
So as a steadfast rule, I go nowhere near anything that's got to do with animals in Asia. I think it's
No.
just you're just asking for to be depressed for you and for
Yeah,
them.
absolutely. Absolutely. And speaking of animals in Asia, I mean, they have these wet markets where they have all these exotic animals that you're probably not
Yeah,
supposed to eat, but they have a tradition for eating
for
all
it.
kinds of things, and
Yeah,
originating in the animal kingdom, and it's just
most definitely.
it's probably from a much more pragmatic standpoint.
Yeah,
They will defend their culture and their traditions, but I'm avoiding these things, these places as well, because it's just not for me.
yeah. I don't know. It's one of them things, isn't it? It can be can be pretty merciless for the animals. Like, it's nice to see something that you haven't seen, but as long as it's I guess in a good environment, then it's okay. Some people would be on their soapbox and say not at all, but I'm not at that stage. As long as as long as it's well looked after, and but on the opposite, I went to a in the same city as I seen. Sorry
What's
about that.
what's happening there on your desk?
I had a bug on my desk. I was like, in
something
that
something
same city
venomous?
no, it was, I think, just a beetle. So I
Okay.
just flicked him on the floor. He's crawling off across my floor over there. But you just never know. You never know in Australia. It could have been anything. So
That's what I'm saying.
could have been a spider or anything. So you just you don't know. So but yeah, I don't know where I was saying now. I went to in China at the same place, same city where the zoo was. We went to Polar Ocean World, it was called, so it was full of animals from the Arctic, and it was actually really good. Had big tanks and lots of area, really professional sort of setup. And they had a beluga whale there. I'd never seen a beluga whale
Wow,
before.
yeah.
Yeah, they had like a walrus and a polar bear and things like that. Like, I mean, obviously, there's no perfect amount of room. The more room
No,
you have, the
no.
better. But yeah, there's extremes. There's extremes. Not you're best off to read reviews on places on TripAdvisor or Google or something like that before you go. Yeah, anywhere where there's animals, I think anyway, just to get an indication of what people are generally saying about the place.
Yeah. Speaking of reviews, this reminds me. I am in a feud dispute with Google over a review. It's a physician, a local physician here in Germany, where I had a bad
Yeah,
experience, and
yeah,
I wrote about it 4 years ago on Google reviews and
yeah.
gave them 1 star out of 5. And now, 4 years later, they have asked Google to take it down for defamation. Because my experience apparently stirred something, and and they've filed a complaint. So I was
You wrecked
asked.
their 5-star rating, Anders.
I defended my review, and I said, this is what reviews are for, isn't it?
Yeah,
I've I was, when I was there, I was, and this is a general thing about, medical people, physicians. They talk in language, and they sort of, there's an arrogance over that
yeah,
whole area of expertise, right? And
yeah,
I felt belittled. I felt talked to like a
yep,
kid, and
yeah,
it was as if I should have known, I should know better than to ask these
yeah,
professional people about their
definitely.
opinions. That's the feeling
Yeah,
I left with, and this is a common thing, really, in these professions. So I just wrote about this, and I was not being, personal. I was just,
yeah,
writing from my personal point of view.
yeah.
And now 4 years later, they've apparently seen this, and it's been taken down. so so
And you can't do anything about it. Like Google don't give you the option to leave it there. They just
they did
that's
actually.
such a
They asked me about, and I wrote back, and then they said we're not gonna change our opinion. We're not gonna change the outcome of the case. And I said, quite frankly, I said, well, you do whatever you want. This is 4 years ago, and I know hundreds of people have seen it, and so now
yeah.
you're taking it down. Fine with me. And then I went on to saying, is this really a person that I'm writing with, or is this just a bot? And they haven't
The
really
AI
responded
for
to that.
sure.
They,
For
yeah,
sure. Like, so, but that's wrong though. Like, that's there's a whole there's a whole like black market industry built around people who are employed to actually write, positive comments on Google reviews and TripAdvisor and all this stuff like that. Really,
yeah,
to keep places with 5-star ratings and it's all a lot of it's a big con in the end for everything. Like I was watching a YouTube video the other day and like about this guy. I watched a lot of his airline reviews. His name's Josh Cahill, and he was talking about Skytrax, which is the de facto rating site for airlines,
yeah.
and if they bestow you with like a 5-star rating or whatever it is. But what happens is all these ratings, from Skytrax, like, you pay a certain amount of money and they say to you, if you do this and this and this over the next 2 years, we will slowly increase your star rating till you get to a 5-star
Oh,
rating,
yeah. Well,
basically.
yeah,
Like,
yeah,
so you're guaranteed to get it no matter what, because he was reviewing, I think it was Hainan Airlines, which is a Chinese airline, and one of their slogans is we're one of the 5 best airlines in the world,
Oh,
rated by Skytrax, like things like that. So, and like, he doesn't tear airlines to shreds, but he just points out and he goes, like, this seat is definitely not 5-star in business class. This meal is nice, but it's not what I would expect in a 5-star. It's not a Qatar quality or an Emirates quality or something like that. So he was pointing out the glaring obvious about this Chinese carrier that had a 5-star airline, a 5-star rating because
yeah,
they had paid the money to Skytrax in order to get these ratings, and
yeah.
things like that. So that's the hard part, I guess, about reviews. You just never know. Like, you never know if they're real or or they're being bought or even society wise. Look, different people from different countries and different cultures have different expectations too, which
Yes.
sometimes makes reviews hard to fathom. Like, I'm not sounding. Oh, it's not racist. I'm just not. I generally dismiss reviews by Americans, only because they're way more customer service focused, and I
Yes.
find a little bit more picky about, oh, I went to my hotel room and there was some dust on the windowsill, or something like that. Like, it's all within retrospect of what you find annoying or what you find unsatisfactory. For me, if there was a bit of dust or something like that in the room, or on the window still,
Yeah.
things like that. And for me, are not here nor there. For some people, they are. So you always got to take I think a grain of salt into
Yes.
whatever you read on reviews, because everyone's expectations are different. I think when it comes to
Absolutely.
especially travel products and travel destinations and hotels and tours and things like that, because this person may have had a bad what they call a bad experience, but the person who stayed in the room the next night may think it's fine. So you go, where's the
That's why
the
you should always read as many reviews over a certain place as you can, because there will be there will be mixed opinions. I gotta say though that on Google Review, I also rated the local skin doctor, the local what do you call that in English? A specialist in skin, dermatologist. I think
dermatologist, or
dermatologist.
something. Or
Yeah. Because I've been there regularly for cancer checkups and treatments and stuff, and recently I had a bad experience, and I kind of wrote. It was not about the expertise per se. It was more around the customer service and the way they sort of treated their patients, let people wait for almost an hour, even though they had a confirmed time schedule and all these things, that they seem to be very, very dismissive about, people, and take very little, have very little respect for people's time, and the way they saw all these in between things was my complaint.
This is common everywhere. I think it's the same. It's the same in Australia. Like, if I turned up an hour late for my appointment, would they let me in? No. Would they?
Exactly. Yeah, but you're welcome to sit in their waiting room.
Sit there. They can make me sit there and wait for an hour for them when they're running late, and there's no penalty. My appointment should be free if I'm sitting there waiting for an hour. Like, I know there's issues sometimes with people, but build 5 minutes extra into each of your appointment or something like that, so then you get a buffer through the day. Like, our doctor's surgery here is a little bit notorious for that, especially if you go later on in the day. So I always bring up and ask, because I'm only 5 minutes away, I always ring up and ask if they're on time, or what's the wait. That's just my general concession these days. What's the waiting? How far over are you? 20 minutes, 30 minutes, fine. I'll be there in 20 minutes. And if you're 20 minutes over time, because I know I don't want to sit in the waiting room for half an hour or 45 minutes. I'd prefer just to walk
absolutely
5 minutes and go in. So if I can gather what the wait time is by calling them, then I just arrive late.
Exactly. No, so they actually, and this was the positive thing, and that happens too. This dermatologist, there's a manager, managing the clinic and everything, and he recognized my name because I had an appointment there. And he asked if I would take 5 minutes to talk to him, because he had read my review online, which I found very positive. At first, I was like, okay, well, of course, we can talk about it. And he said, we take this very seriously, and I explained to him, in depth, elaborated a little bit about, what was my concern and my complaint. And he really took care to make sure that I got what I expected, customer service wise, because it wasn't really about the actual treatment, because I know they're very good. And so I actually made an update on that review on Google, because I said, give credit where credit is due, and they took it seriously. They upped their game, and so I gave them an extra star. So
good stuff.
So it's good to know that the other way around, they also, and I guess this is the whole purpose of making a review. It's actually not to at least for me, I don't want to be mean or anything. I don't want to be just,
Yeah.
take out their livelihood. I want them to be aware when there's an issue, and I want them to take care of the issue, so that
Yeah.
the next people, won't get the same experience. That's
Yeah.
the whole purpose of writing a review, I guess. So when an
You're right.
establishment actually takes you seriously, and they actually
Yeah.
do something about it, that's great. That's the whole purpose.
Yeah. Most definitely. So,
Yeah.
when are you off to Prague? Sunday this week, is it?
Yes, we're
Or
going
Monday?
on Sunday in 2 days.
Sunday.
So tomorrow we start packing. Alex, my wife,
Yeah.
always says, yeah, I'm gonna be doing my packing in good time. And I always laugh because usually she hates packing, and it's just somewhat last minute usually.
Oh, I'm
Yeah.
getting longer. Like, I'm a bit like that these days. Once by the time I packed a week beforehand, now I'm most likely to pack the day before. I mean, I'll have all my camera equipment and stuff organised, but clothes, I'll just go, yeah, okay, that just becomes a bit of a chore, doesn't it? Sometimes it's
Yeah, yeah, no. So we are allowed 20 kilos. We're driving with Flixbus.
Oh, it's good. That's like like a airline, I guess. So, isn't it really?
No, yeah,
Most
well, we're
airlines are 20
driving. Yeah,
kilos.
it's a bit like the airline rules. This is a
Yeah.
bus, so it was just be thrown in the trunk, I guess. Yeah, 20 kilos is certainly enough. We have 5 overnights,
That's
and so
plenty, isn't it?
yeah, it's absolutely plenty.
So, are you only allowed to take one bag that equals 20 kilos, or are you allowed to take
Yes,
more than one bag? Or
one bag and then a carry-on. We can have like
yeah,
a yeah.
yeah, a little
I don't think the
backpack or
I
whatever.
think if the carry-on is 8 kilos or something like that. I don't know
Yeah,
why they because this is a bus. I mean, there shouldn't be, but I guess they have these measurements, in kilos, so that people don't come with a huge amount of
I'd be
luggage.
pretty surprised if they check it though.
I don't think they do.
I think it's much like you say, it's a deterrent, so you don't turn up with 5 suitcases or something
Exactly.
like that. So
Exactly.
it'd
Yeah.
be like, this is what it is. If you can fit 50 kilos in that one suitcase, well,
Yeah.
I'm going to chuck it
Go
on.
ahead.
But,
Yeah.
you're not turning up with 5 of them, though. That's the
Exactly. I don't even
that's the
think they
bottom
would do
line.
anything if you came with 2 suitcases.
No.
I don't think they would. I mean, if they have room, then they
Nah,
have room.
really
Yeah, but
just a deterrent.
we're all excited about this because it's sort of we've never done this before on a bus,
Yeah.
but I don't see it being any different from traveling by airplane, because it's like just like a flying bus these days, isn't it? It's
Yeah.
really
Yeah, definitely.
it's not really comfortable. They don't really you don't get any particular treatment, particular service on board. It's
No.
just really a
I
flying
guess the
bus.
only
Yeah.
the only thing about the bus is, what is it, 5 hours, 6
Yeah,
hours, 4 hours?
5.5 hours, yeah, to Prague.
So you might get to stop twice and get out for a stretch and a toilet break, maybe,
Yeah.
which is, probably at least you get off it, I guess. Whereas the plane, you're not getting off that, are you?
Exactly.
At that height, I guess. So
No, that's
yeah.
true. No, so we're excited about that, and this week we booked another trip to Budapest. So we're going to Budapest in February next year.
Fantastic. Flying to Budapest? Or
Yeah, no, it's by train, 7.5 hours.
Train?
Yeah, by train.
Oh, that's all right. Because go through Vienna, and
Yes.
via Vienna.
Yeah.
Okay, that's not bad, is it? 7.5 hours.
No, it's manageable, and it will be because we found out this is a sort of a sweet spot. Going on a Sunday and returning on a Friday. That's sort of
Yeah.
so you avoid the weekend really.
Avoid the weekend. Yeah.
and just because we have a school holiday anyway, so we're and I think that's. It's probably the formula for success this day and age with our teenage kid and the way our family dynamics work these days. It's a good way to travel, and we can all be sort of relaxed and enjoy each other's company. So yeah.
You have been to Budapest before?
Never, no. So this is a first for all of us. Yeah. So
I have some really fond memories of Budapest, but it was in 2003. So back in them days, it was a really, really, really nice city. And actually, it's probably one of the few cities in Europe I've been to that I've never been back to for some reason. There's just not
yeah,
many. There's just nothing around. Like, not there's nothing around it, but it's a fair way from anywhere else I've been at any
yeah,
one sort of time, if you know what I mean. Like, it's
yeah.
not just and there was no. But yeah, we went there in 2003. It was just me and Rebecca. It was one of the first trips. It was her first trip to Europe, actually, when we went to Budapest. And yeah, I have really fond memories. Similar to Prague, like old world buildings and
Yes.
things like that. So yeah, it was very, very nice back then. I assume it's probably still nice now. Old world buildings don't change often, so
No, no, it's
this
it's
might be
as you say, it's old world architecture, original
yeah,
architecture. So sort of a medieval vibe to many of these,
yep,
and many movies and TV series are actually filmed in these areas.
yeah.
Prague, particularly
I'm,
rural Czechoslovakia, the rural Czech Republic,
yep,
is
yep,
known for its scenery.
yeah. That's it.
So yeah,
Yeah, I think
we're
I remember the castle, the really big castle there on the hill. It was nice.
yeah.
There's a marketplace there. It was designed by Gustav Eiffel. That was quite a nice building. I remember going, we caught a bus just out of town, not far. It was over the river and up the road a bit. There was a park there where they saved all the old Soviet communist statues. Instead of toppling them all, they put them in this park. So like giant statues of Lenin and all these Soviet era,
Yeah,
statues of, big hammers, people holding them, like to try and have Soviet Union propaganda, yeah, it was quite interesting. I don't know whether it's still there or not, but yeah, I remember going out to this park. It was quite interesting there. The food was really good, once again, a bit like Prague, lots of meat heavy goulash and that sort of
yeah,
stuff going on there from back in the
yeah.
day.
No.
And yeah, so
So
it was quite
Anton,
interesting.
our
Actually,
uh,
speaking of travel, I think I'm going to go to Japan next year. So
oh wow,
I've been doing a bit of a deep dive into Japan. Probably not until September, I don't think. I need to save up a bit of money for it. I think it'll. But what we're going to do, I think we're going to go and do 15 days in Japan, landing in Tokyo, obviously, and departing from Osaka, when we'll go Hiroshima and Kyoto. But we're going to catch a ferry, an overnight ferry from Osaka to Busan in South Korea, and fly out from there. I've been to Busan before. Quite a nice city on the coast. Actually liked Busan more than I liked Seoul last time we went to South Korea.
yeah,
So yeah, it's like a 19-hour ferry ride, and the ferry's not a ferry; it's more like a cruise ship. So it goes 3 times a week from Osaka to Busan, and you leave about 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and it pulls in about 9 o'clock in the morning or something
yeah,
like that. So yeah, and then we'll just fly out of, probably stay in Busan for like 3 days or 4 days, and fly back to Melbourne. So at the moment, that's my plan. I'm just monitoring some flight prices and things like
yeah.
that, and then we'll jump on it, I think. So
We have plans for Japan as well, the year after in 27.
yeah,
But yeah, it's rather expensive.
yeah.
But yeah,
What I found was
we're
the train travel is really expensive. Like, I was looking at
yeah.
tickets for the bullet trains, and like just to go from, I think to go from Tokyo to like Kyoto or Osaka was maybe $160 Australian a person, which is, I don't know, it's probably €80 or something
Yeah.
like that. And then to go from Kyoto to Hiroshima was $110. So if we made like trips each, it was going to be well around $600 each just to catch the
Yes.
train. Like, hotel prices didn't seem too bad. They were on par. I was able to look and add in Tokyo 6 nights. I could get a place in between $600 and $800 mark. So maybe 120 Australian, 130 Australian a night. For 3-star hotels, so that wasn't too bad. I haven't looked at the hotel price in the other cities because I was more concerned about how dear it was going to be
so these
in
prices
Tokyo.
Are they per person or per room?
No, per room. That would be for two, so it might cost you more for. It'll cost you more for three people. I'm guessing if you're taking Anton with you.
Yeah,
but,
Or we will go with, because this is what we're doing in both Prague and Budapest. We'll simply have an apartment, and that's seems to be sort of convenient for all of us, and taking care. We make sure we have breakfast ready in the apartment, so because that's another thing when you with teenage kids, when you. When you need to be at the hotel restaurant at a certain time before they close the breakfast buffet, just, there's always a cause
Yeah, I think we'll spend maybe 15 days or 16 days in Japan and about 3 days in South Korea, and then and come home. Sounds feasible enough for me.
But what did you say? September? That's probably it's probably still hot in Japan in September, isn't it?
Yeah, it's probably still mid-20s to low 30s. Some days.
I guess so. Yeah.
It's okay. I don't mind that as long as it's no higher. As long as there's no 35s and 40s, I can handle. I can handle 30 degrees. It's not. Yeah, that's not too bad. The problem is there's actually finding the right time to go. I've got because I'm going away again in January, so I'm like, well, ideally I'd like to go in April or May, coming out of winter, so it's cooler. But then I won't have enough holiday pay, so then I go, well, what do? Then do I wait till October, November, and that's been nearly a whole year since I've been anywhere. So you go, well, when is ideally June would be perfect to go, but June or July is right in the middle of the summer, and I'm just getting sick of going to places right in the middle of summer where it's like 40, 35 degrees. So I don't know. I'm a bit September at the moment, I'm saying, but I may change my mind in between them. But I think we'll probably go to Japan for we'll go take 3 weeks off and go.
Just you and Beck?
Yeah, just me and Beck. Marley will be in the midst of her last year of high school, and Willow may be here or may have moved back to China by then. Who a lot
of water can run through the under the bridge,
Yeah, but Marley will be 18 in a few months by then, so she's capable of looking after herself. So flight from Australia at the moment to Tokyo and out of Busan was only $998 return the other day, which I didn't think was
that's actually
too bad. So so and that was with Vietnam Airlines. I've flown them before. They're okay. They're a full service carrier. They're nothing special, but that's unless you fly business, nothing is greatly special these days anyway. So you get on stops in Ho Chi Minh City on the way and on the way back. For I think it's like 6-hour stopover, but I can deal with that. I'll just sit down and find somewhere to sit on my phone and eat some Vietnamese food. So and so at this stage it sounds like a pretty good plan. I'll probably wait until the start of next year to book it, and we'll see what happens. Go from there. So
It's obviously first world problems we have here, Mark.
It is.
Whether we can go in June or September, or in terms of holiday pay, and
it's more to do with my work than anything. I can't. I'm like, well, I'm going to be.
We're really struggling here.
And then can I say, hey, come April, hey, I want to leave for another month.
Yeah, exactly. No, but it's nice. I mean, and again, we've discussed this so many times on the show here. Yeah. It's important to, particularly in this day and age, it's important to go out and explore the world. It's it gives you a better understanding of various cultures, and
It does. It's like
that's the whole purpose, really.
there's been some pretty strong talk in our house the last few weeks about mid 2027 taking off for a while and seeing see what happens with it all. So that's firmly back on the cards. We might just go see what happens for a
Yeah.
while and see how it goes. So, but that would be mainly based in Asia because it's, we're sort of looking at it, taking into consideration, we can probably it'd probably cost us maybe 40 grand Australian for a year in Asia. And that would include, that includes 5 grand, probably what it costs me to continue to pay, housing rates and taxes and car insurances in Australia and things like that, because obviously I've got to keep a house and everything here, and
Yes.
them sort of bills don't stop even though you're not here. I've got to pay house insurance, car insurance. I've got to pay local government taxes to have me rubbish picked up even though I won't be here. Things like
electricity.
That
You probably want to keep the power on as well.
Yeah, I will. So things like that. Last time we did because I've got solar, it pays to keep the power on because I'll come back and I might be a little bit in credit with my solar. But yeah, so I think last time we left everything on: power, gas, water. Didn't disconnect at all because you weren't using it. I think the gas was like 80 cents a day to keep connected. It was nearly going to cost more to reconnect it if you needed to and things like that.
Yeah.
So you just leave it all on. So
that's the thing. It's a good way of seeing it, because the cost of living in Asia is significantly lower than it is in most Western countries, in all Western countries, really. So if you want to go traveling over a longer period of time, it doesn't necessarily have to be, more expensive. And if you can take your source of income with you, that's really you can really travel indefinitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll probably mix a little bit of income we make online and with a bit of savings we've got. I won't spend everything that we own because I need to come back at some stage. But we've managed to save a fair bit of money over the last few years, so we've got a bit of money floating around. That we own our house, we own our cars. I don't owe any money to anyone. Yeah. So the issue is you go, well, I'm early 50s. How long do you hold on to this money? Life's becoming shorter and shorter and shorter as you
True.
As you go on, and the longer you wait, the more chance you've got of something happening that will never allow you to, to go and do something like this again. We would be looking at, we'd be looking at going for a few years, because I'd have to go for a few years to make it worth quitting our jobs and everything like that. So I'd be looking long term, anywhere between I reckon I could fund 2 to 5 years, depending if I could last that long, I'd have to come back to Australia. I'd have to come back to Australia once a year at least, come back to the house and things like that for a month or 2 months and then go again.
But you probably want to anyway, because it's important to have some downtime. That's at least my experience. You need downtime to reflect and sort of digest all the impressions you have. You can't go. I've seen so many of these travel bloggers. They just travel for years and years and years on end, and they get burnout. Because they simply are always thinking of the next place and how to create content and you can't do that all the time. No. It's no person works like that.
I just can't fathom people who sell up everything to go and do it a lot of the time. Like not if you're a fair way into owning a house and things like that. Because it's all right saying, okay, I'm going to go live my dream, but the dream's over at some stage. At some stage you go, I can't live forever on the road. I've got to have some point of reference. And, and if you've already paid a large chunk of your house off and then you sell it and you spend all that when you're traveling, then what do you come back to?
Exactly. We certainly need, in our family, we need a home base, just to come back and, just... Maybe for days doing nothing, just enjoy the rest and the quiet.
Well, that's it, I have a brother and sister that live in this town, and I certainly have stuff that that is ours that I don't want to sell because, so I need somewhere to put all that. And so I need to keep up a home base as well as being able to travel. So yeah, like it's certainly, we're sitting there today just working out what it would cost this, for instance, in Bali, because it's somewhere that we know, not that we would spend 12 months there. Like my plan would be to go somewhere for a month at a time, go somewhere different every month probably, so stay there long enough. A month is probably long enough in any one destination for me to, see most of it, get around, figure out what it's like, go to enough restaurants, bars, cafes, see the sights,
Yeah.
And, but you can't treat it like a holiday either because you don't have the funding to treat it exactly like a holiday. So it needs to be more like you're going there to live. And for our case, I can do some sort of work online in, the whatever we do. And, but in Bali, for instance, like we'll look at today. So if we went and stayed at the place we stayed at last time, which was this homestay that was $35 a night. So I'd only need $1,000 for accommodation, Australian a month, so €500. And we could go out if we went to a local restaurant for lunch and dinner, which is called a wurang. So it's a little Indonesian place. I could do that for both of us, could have a meal and a drink, and that would cost about $12 Australian for lunch and $12 Australian for tea. And in reality, I could still have 4 cocktails. So I could go out for lunch, dinner, have 4 cocktails a day between us and accommodation for about $100.
Yeah, exactly.
Every day. So
what will that give you in Australia? Nothing, not much, huh?
Yeah.
Not that much.
No, for about $75 a day. So, so it's, $2,500 a month, maybe at minimum, it would be the spend. So what's that, 1,200 euros, 1,250 euros a month. You could live in Bali and so I can't live on that here. So
no.
I go to the supermarket today and
here
bought 6 things and it cost me $60 Australian. So yeah, that's crazy. So that's some plans going forward. We'll see what happens. It's 2 years away. Anything could happen within 2 years, but at this stage it seems more likely than not that's something we'll pursue at some stage in 2027. So got to have a plan. Got to have something to look forward to.
Exactly. That's that's half the experience, at least to me. Researching about a place you want to go, and finding out what the big sites are, and we've got friends who was recently in Japan, and they although it was in August and it was very hot, he said, and they can take a bit of temperature. And he said, my friend there, he said, this was the hottest I've ever been. This is really extreme. Nevertheless, they had a great experience and they enjoyed it and they recommend it. And so the more you hear about that, the more you want to go. And that's intriguing. That's start researching and you say, okay, I want to see that and that and that. Yeah.
Definitely.
So
my
absolutely.
YouTube feed is full of Japan stuff at the moment.
yeah, it is. Mine too. And so we're going as well. We're definitely going as well. So
most definitely.
All right, Mark. It's been already well over an hour.
Yeah, that's it.
I'll talk to you when I get back from Prague because next week I'm going to be there. Next week is probably timing wise. I can't really commit to anything.
No, of course not.
So, but the week after, let's do another one then.
We will talk in a couple of weeks for sure. I hope hope you and your family have a really good trip to Prague, and we look forward to digesting that when we get back online.
Exactly. So say hello to Beck and chat then.
Yep,
take care.
No worries, mate. You stay with your family. Have a great trip and we'll talk soon.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Bye.